Shaddai, Almighty King, to you alone I lift my offering. Jehovah Jireh, you provide. In every storm, you're by my side. El Elyon, the Most High One, bright morning star, the risen sun. Adonai, sovereign Lord above, clothed in justice, mercy, and love. You are my God, forever the same, forever the same, mighty and holy, I bless your name. Alpha, Omega, Omega, beginning and ending. You are my God, my Savior, my everything.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this live stream. Let's just get straight into it. Okay. So we're going to be reviewing Tucker Carlson, or maybe we should call him Tucker Khalid, interview of what I would say a very corrupt human being, Piers the Pratt Morgan. But my issue is not for the labels I have labeled them with, but let's just get into it and see what baloney these two have been talking.
A king, a phrase that was common until recently. All of that seems to be gone.
Well, we're still a very majority Christian country, right? Still 40-odd% of the country are Christians, right? That's a fact. So when I hear America...
Whatever that means, I mean...
Well, it means...
Well, it means that nearly half the country state they are Christian. What else could that mean? Tucker Khalid?
Well, get arrested for praying outside an abortion clinic. That's not a Christian country.
Well, okay,
that's
valid point. But you're not really going to get Piers Morgan to agree with that. So let's move on.
There are nearly 50% of the country identify as Christian. The more concerning thing for those who have faith is that nearly 40% now have no religious belief whatsoever, right?
Right.
Then we have a lot of other religions. There's a slight amplification of, for example, the number of Muslims in the country. There are nearly 4 million Muslims in the country, and that represents about 6% of the population. But 43 or 4% of the population are still Christian. So I do think, again, that the over-amplification of the Islam problem, as people put it, or the Muslim problem, has been massively overstated.
Well, that's an obviously.
Yeah.
Hate the Muslims. No, we know where that's coming from.
Obviously. I don't like it.
I hate it.
In my high street.
I beg your pardon. Hate on the Muslims is an op. Fine, let's just dissect that. First and foremost, Muslim grooming gangs coming together and raping non-Muslim children is an op, or is it part of their religion? Previous videos, live streams I've conducted, I've already proven that gang rape and targeting and abusing of non-Muslim children and women and girls by Islamic gangs is not only part of their religion, but it's also pretty much an activity that's been conducted by all Islamic empires. Okay, so it's definitely Islamic. I'm sorry, but the evidence is there. You can go back to the videos that I've created, the live streams. I've shown the evidence. Everybody is able to research. What gets me about this, and what I think Tucker Carlson has been bought by, is that he's not stupid. He's an extremely clever, extremely rich man who clearly has a research team with him, because if you watch his interviews, he does a lot of in-depth research. So he's sitting there on a live stream, in an interview with a former, what I would say, a corrupt editor of a newspaper, and saying that there's an op in place for people to hate on Muslims. Nobody hates Muslims. Muslims are human beings like the rest of us. However, that religion creates individuals, creates groups that targets people outside of their belief system. That's not a conspiracy. That's not some kind of operation. That's actually written in their text. So why haven't you bothered to research that, Tucker? You twat.
Alone in West London, most of the businesses would have Muslim employees there. Or
but also, how is hate the Muslims better than hate the Christians or hate the Jews?
It's not. It's all the same.
No, it's the same.
And I've heard you say, and this is the point I come from.
I don't understand. Am I missing something? Is there some kind of organization that I'm not aware of, or some kind of activity I'm not aware of, that is getting people to hate each other? Because last time I checked, every single group, every single culture seemed to be getting on okay. The only issue was that the rest of us don't like being a target of terroristic attacks. Fine, if you're going to say that those Islamic terrorists are working for the globalists or are funded by the globalists, aka the West, we can have a conversation about that. I'm open to that. I've already had those discussions already, but there's plenty of evidence, videos and everything else showing that members of the Muslim or Islamic community are targeting those people who are not part of their community. That's not a conspiracy. That's exactly what's happening. In fact, that's part of their religion. I don't buy any of this. What is Tucker playing at?
Hatred is hatred is hatred.
I totally agree.
It doesn't matter who you're hating. The moment you're in the hate game, then I think you're losing whatever argument is you're trying to have.
I
absolutely agree with that, Piers.
Totally agree. But moving off from hate and getting back to the world I live in, which is fear and distrust and gut level loathing.
Yeah.
It's the secular people who are the problem. I've never had an argument with a Muslim.
Apparently, the rumors are that Tucker Carlson is ex-CIA asset, or his father was a CIA. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that has any relevance if that is true. I'm just saying, isn't it funny that a lot of these ops, as he was referring to as, always seem to have involvement of organizations and agencies like the CIA or the FBI or the MI5 or the MI6 and the rest of it, you know, but he doesn't seem to be mentioning that too much.
With an actual Muslim. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a Muslim. We probably agree on a lot. It's the secular self-hating whites that stand up from the table and leave when I'm eating with them here. Just saying. And that's true in my country too. But leave that aside, I just sort of wonder, and I'm not hating on the Muslims at all. Or bad Muslims or bad everybody. I just think a country is more than its bureaucratic systems, and certainly more than the NHS, which I will never think is impressive, sorry. Or your metric system, which is pathetic.
Think you're wrong about that.
Maybe
but you're not wrong about the state of it now. I mean, I'll give an example. What wouldn't have happened in the 60s and 70s?
Okay, we're going to move forward a little bit.
There were 3 times as many people arrested in the UK last year for speech crimes as were arrested in Putin's Russia, and you have half the population. So this is much more authoritarian than Putin's Russia.
No, it's not.
What? How is it? How is it not?
That's ridiculous.
If you have 3 times as many arrests for speech crimes, it's more authoritarian.
I've not seen that stat. If that is true, it's because we have been so appalling in protecting free speech.
Well, you're appalling. I'm not. No debate there. But I'm just saying, as a how do you define authoritarian?
The idea that we are living here in a more authoritarian state than Russia.
If you're come on. Those are the numbers.
You don't believe that.
Look, I believe in science, Piers. I believe in science.
You think England is more authoritarian than Russia?
I think you're more likely to be arrested for a speech crime in Great Britain, indeed 3 times as likely.
What would happen if you criticized the government? If you went on the airwaves here tonight?
I'm an American. They're not going to mess with me.
No, but if you went on the airwaves here tonight and you start abusing and hammering and mocking and criticizing our Prime Minister, which, by the way, many people are doing.
I'll give you...
Let me finish my question. If you did that, what would happen to you?
Nothing.
Exactly.
But what if I said I thought gay sex was disgusting and should be illegal?
And if you went...
Wait, hold on. That's nothing. Prime Minister. How about I'm opposed to sodomy? How's that?
I haven't finished my question. And if you went to Moscow and you went on the airwaves and you did that about Putin, what would happen?
You'd be in trouble.
Right. So there's the difference.
No, because
that's an authoritarian state.
No, that's a straightforward.
This one is not.
That's a straightforward.
This is a flawed democracy.
No, this is.
Can you believe Piers Morgan is trying to argue that Britain is not an authoritarian state? Of course it is, Piers. Idiots like you made sure that was the case. What Tucker is trying to say, that if he was to criticize homosexuality or transgenderism and all these other things, then like people have been, he will be locked up and he will be sent to court.
Global homo.
This is global homo.
It is. It's global homo. This is.
What do you mean?
I'm going to tell you. This is a concept that you need to understand. This is.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. This is the authoritarianism of the present and future. And it's the feline, passive-aggressive female version that doesn't tell you what it is. They don't march into your town in jackboots and put a rifle against your face and tell you to obey.
Russia.
For sure. It's much more straightforward.
And they kill you.
And
you fall off a building suddenly.
Oh, you kill tons of people. You kill tons.
You fall off a building if you're in one of the Muslim countries as well, because that's what they do to gay people. But you've forgotten that, have you, Piers?
The people.
I don't disagree.
Oh, yeah, you do a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Right. So let's stop with the killing people, because you kill tons of people. But as you well know, because you know the people who do it, and I do too. No, I'm saying there's something more offensive about an authoritarianism that will not admit what it is. So instead, people are arrested here and thrown into jail. And I've been to Belmarsh Prison. It's awful.
I've been there.
It's awful.
It is.
But you walk in and there are all these signs about Trans Acceptance Week. It is fascism wrapped in the Human Rights Campaign rainbow logo. It's not any different from what we were fighting against. It's arresting you for saying something they don't want.
I certainly believe, and this has been my big criticism of the woke left.
Yeah, so that's a good point that Tucker has just made, that when our country here in the UK fought against the Nazis, whatever was preserved, the freedom, the culture, the lifestyle, that has been lost now, and it's been lost to the very same thing that was defeated. So in other words, that type of suppression, authoritarianism, boots on your face type of dictatorship is here. It might be wearing different clothes, a different outfit, and we know that is coming in the guise of democracy, but that same thing of whatever the Nazis represented, Britain has become. You can't argue against that. Let's just move forward a little bit.
Elizabeth Kinney from Tranmere. Have you heard about this?
Go on.
She's a mother of 4. I think she's a nurse, and she gets beaten up by her boyfriend. He beats her up. She goes to the hospital, and she texts someone, a buddy of hers, a friend of hers, a girlfriend of hers, and describes the man who beat her up and sent her to the hospital as a, quote, faggot. He's a faggot. And she's arrested and convicted of a hate crime. The guy who beat her up is not arrested or convicted. And then she goes through this whole kabuki, which is now required, where she prostrates herself before the judge. I'm sorry, it was not a homophobic rant. By the way, you're allowed to be homophobic if you want in a free country. You can have any view you want. But no, because she used the word faggot, she's arrested, and the guy who punched her in the face was not. That story tells you everything.
Yeah, exactly. Rather annoyingly, Tucker Khalid is actually right. And as we've seen, even with the Muslim grooming gangs, where the girl reports the perpetrators and the police ignore them. The social workers, in fact, call them all types of things. The court even, says crazy things like, the child is part to blame because they were acting like this. So what Tucker Carlson has actually said there is not just that example for that case, is absolutely every corner of the judicial system in the UK. That is what is happening. And I'm sorry to say, UK is falling apart. I'm looking around, kind of looking for the exit, not literally, but so to speak, where how fast has this country gone from being a good country to a complete and utter tyrannical shithole? I feel so worried, mostly for the people in the city, because I can see what's going to happen to people that live in the city. I can see those people that don't have a good network, that don't have a good community, what's going to happen to them. I'm actually very, very worried because these indications, I mean, why do you think? Now, I used to think, why didn't Tommy Robinson stand up and say, it is my constitutional right that I have a jury? In fact, that is a question I want to pose to Tommy Robinson and anybody on his team. When he was being tried in court, why did he or his legal team not say that it is my constitutional right to be given a trial by jury? I don't get it. If Tommy Robinson has paid the big money for the King's Council and the rest of it, are we supposed to believe that none of these barristers actually turned around and said it's his constitutional right? What is the justification for that to happen? Because as we see now, the government is trying to do away with the jury trial, and if that happens, I'm sorry, I'm declaring Britain to be a Nazi state, an Islamic Nazi state. That's exactly what I'm going to be calling or referring to Britain if this continues.
Well, I don't know that story. If it's exactly
Daily Mail, baby.
Okay,
Pictures of her and everything.
I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying I need to look into it. But if that is how you've told it, obviously it's ridiculous.
Would you say the word faggot on camera?
No.
Why?
Because
you don't want to get arrested, do you?
Doesn't want to be arrested.
Because it's so harmful to people?
No.
Is that like gay bashing? What's wrong with that?
No, actually, my whole issue with the whole trans debate, for example, is you don't need to slide into actually saying derogatory stuff about trans people to make the point that women's rights should be protected. You don't need to.
Well, I agree.
So what? I don't believe.
No, but it's a magic word.
I don't believe in needlessly sneering.
Well, I'm not smearing anybody. I just think.
But what would you use that word?
Faggot?
Yeah,
I just did.
Yeah, but would you use
faggot?
Okay, but why?
And I'm using it because you're not allowed to. Because you're
I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
I don't want to.
Say I love gay people. Faggot.
I'm allowed to. I just choose not to.
This chick just got arrested for it and convicted.
Right.
So that doesn't have a chilling effect on your.
What a load of baloney. Piers Morgan knows full well he will be. He probably won't be thrown in jail because he's probably a member of the local Freemasons club and he does up to all sorts. But anybody else, if they were to use that word in any way, then yeah, we know what happens to them.
Ability to,
there are people watching this who will be offended by the use of the word.
I'm sure they
chick.
will. I'm not anti-gay. I never have been. I can use any freaking word I want.
Offended by the use of the word chick.
Chick. Okay, whatever.
Dare you be so sexist comparing women to chicks?
How about this? Let my life, the way that I actually live and treat people, be the testament to my heart. That's how I feel.
Right.
And if I've mistreated someone,
I don't
that
think
is
you,
a sin.
I don't believe. You correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe you would call a gay person a faggot to their face.
Not in a mean way.
Right.
By the way, the only people I ever hear use the word faggot are gay.
Right.
Ever. Just like the only people you ever hear that use the N-word are black.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So if you spend any time around gays, and I have spent a lot of time around gays,
Really?
who, well, of course, I work in television. I mean, half our staff was gay, and they're great people. And they're the only ones who ever said, faggot, he's a faggot. I'd be like, I have no need to say the word. Actually, it's kind of an ugly word, to be totally honest.
You know the argument they use, which is...
they don't use it. They use the word constantly. I've worked with them my whole life.
Well, murder rate in London, for example.
Okay,
I checked before I came to see you, because I thought
you think London's a better city than it was 40 years ago, 50 years ago?
Well, statistically, the murder rate is actually been plummeting in London.
Do you know any...
Which I'm good. I'll tell you the problem in London. What we really need in London...
Wait, do you think it's a better city than it was 40 years ago, for real?
Yeah.
You think Sadiq Khan's better than what you had before?
I think Sadiq Khan is somebody who's won 2 more terms after his first, because actually he's not done as bad a job as people say.
Oh, that's the new standard.
Nor has he done as...
What a load of baloney. We all know he won because of the Muslim bloc vote, We all know he won because of that. And do we actually think that any of these mayoral elections are not fixed to some degree? I mean, would you put anything past the UK establishment? I certainly wouldn't.
Well, no, nor has he done as good a job as he would like you to believe. But certainly in things like tackling murder, I give him credit. In tackling things like the clean air, where some of the boroughs here were the most polluted.
You have no factories. You don't make anything. How all you do is banking. How could there be dirty air? What are you even talking about? There's no manufacturing. You lost automotive. You lost aerospace. You lost everything. Steel. It's clean air because people are idle. Actually, they're delivering food to people who work at banks. That's it.
There is more traffic now in London than there was even 4 years.
Yeah. So, isn't it embarrassing that the former editor of the Daily Mirror, what a shite newspaper that is, the former editor of the Daily Mirror couldn't answer the question, like, what do you produce? I mean, Tucker Carlson just basically said, you just do banking. Well, it's just banking in square mile in the city of London. That's not rest of London, or it's certainly not the country. I mean, the correct answer is that UK is a service industry. Yeah, we don't produce anything. We're just serving each other. And that's why when the financial crash comes, it's going to hit Britain so hard because we won't have any commodity or any manufacturing to fall on. See, if a financial crash hits China, they're still producers. They still manufacture. The world still needs their cheap plastic stuff that they produce and they export, right? India, if there's a financial crash there, a lot of people are going to be okay because majority of people in India farm. They're micro farmers or they're small farmers or they're large farmers, but the agricultural economy is massive. Here in the UK, the government had to step in and save the last company that manufactures steel, because any country that doesn't have its own steel is not really a superpower, right? And here's the former editor of the Daily Mirror. He can't even answer that question clearly. Embarrassing.
4 years ago.
I'm sure.
Right. So
it's called tourism.
So my borough, Kensington and Chelsea, for example, 1 in 12 people, there was a big study on this a few years ago, 1 in 12 people were dying from pollution-related illness, right? I had a lot of issues, which I thought were allergy issues. Eventually, I was told, right, here's what you should do. Check your air quality app every morning. When it's really high, don't go out and shut the windows. Secondly, get air purifying machines in your house for the rooms you use. I did both. Guess what? I've had no problem since. And I didn't have any allergies.
Well, that's amazing.
Well,
and all it cost was the total destruction of your economy. So why do you think the air was polluted before?
Well,
because people were burning.
Our economy is not being destroyed. We're still one of the biggest economies in the world.
What is the economy here? What's it based on?
What do you mean?
What's the British economy? I look at the economy of, I don't know, Wales in 1900, and it's like, it's coal. Mines, they did coal, people burn it. That's what their economy is. Look at the economy of Sheffield or Birmingham 100 years ago. Well, of course, it was steel making. What's the economy?
There's still a lot of manufacturing in the UK. A lot of
but as a percentage, your economy.
Manufacturing could be a lot less.
A lot less. It's almost non-existent.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So we still have one of the biggest economies in the world. Now,
but what is that economy based on?
A lot of things.
Okay, what's the main one?
Well, the city is a lot of manufacturing.
That's the main one?
Well, there's a lot of technology stuff going on. There's a lot of scientific stuff going on. There's a lot of all sorts of
technology stuff going on. Like what?
You haven't mentioned the biggest one by far.
Well, go on.
Was lending money to people. It's banking.
Banking, yeah. Okay.
That's we're in the city of London right now.
Sure.
How many things are being made in the city of London other than debt?
It's one of the financial hubs of the world. We're right in the city here.
I know we're sitting in the city of London right now, run by City Con.
Right. But again, it's not as bad as people think it is.
But hold on. Is that really an economy? If your economy is real estate, that's London's other big economic center, is buying and selling and leasing pieces of property again and again to different people. Nothing's being created.
Exactly. 8% of the UK economy is linked some form or another to the property market. So when Tucker Carlson is saying lending, it's primarily mortgages.
But that's not true. That's not true. We are creating things here. a lot of things.
Like
No, you're not.
they're
Okay.
aggressively encouraging homosexuality. You use the F word and you go to jail. No, what is that? You can't, if you want to know who's in charge, who can't you criticize? You can't use the word faggot? What?
No one's aggressively encouraging
This girl went
homosexuality.
to jail for using a naughty word about gays, dude. They're not encouraging it. What do you think that is?
What's wrong with homosexuality?
Well, if you encourage it and the rate goes up, people have fewer kids. I don't know. Did you do biology?
Well, no.
So
just to be clear,
the rate,
most gay people don't have kids.
That's the point I'm making.
Okay, well, first and foremost, it's an actual sin. It's sexual immorality. And as we've seen statistically, even though they do try to hide the statistics, a gay man is far more likely to be a paedophile than not. The spiritual connotations of it is beyond comprehension. It's not generally accepted by society. The mental health of gay people is off the charts as well, and as a consequence, it's not really a natural state of being. That is the answer that I think a healthy human being would be given, but that is Piers Morgan, though, isn't it?
So if all of a sudden you have more people being gay, which you do a lot.
No, you don't. People don't pretend to be gay.
Do you have the internet?
Huh?
I don't know. I'm not saying they're pretending. I'm saying you've
gay.
got way more.
Yeah, you're gay, right?
Well, you know, we used to say that, but
You don't think so?
well, I used to think that, but all of a sudden you're
I
having.
think also people putting their hand up saying they're trans. That's a different issue.
Oh, it's totally different. It's not part of the.
Okay, first and foremost, I like Tucker Carlson. I've also worked in the media industry, and I have worked with a lot of gay people. So my understanding is this: no gay person is born. You're not born gay. It's something that you learn. It's as simple as that. And unfortunately, and this is a very sad statistic, it would have been nice to have maybe a gay person on the panel to confirm this, or maybe a few. But my understanding, when I've spoken to some gay people, that they have been sexually abused at some part of their life. And as a consequence, it is believed by many researchers that it is the trauma of that abuse that changes whatever it changes, and that individual changes their sexual preference. I've also interviewed somebody outside the Houses of Parliament, I think it was about a year, maybe two ago, a man who was formerly gay and then became straight through power of Christianity. And he too stated that it is a habit that is learned, and that he started believing and following Jesus Christ, and he was free from that sinful activity. And then you couple that in with how the schools or the education system is being used to twist children's minds at a very young age and convince them that they are gay, or they are gender, or they're a girl when they're a boy, and so on and so forth. You know, you can kind of see, I mean, children are very manipulative, aren't they? They can be manipulated easily into thinking that what they are doing is heroic and they will be helping so many other people out, when in fact they're just really damaging their own childhood. And, you know, as the consequences, the child ends up wanting to have puberty blockers, and, you know, usually many times that child's parents are kind of weird, lefted. I think that's out and out extreme child abuse, allowing your child to do that, because as we've seen statistically, any child that does go through that type of process regrets it and wish they never went through it. So yeah, so I think these two idiots have got it completely wrong.
Continuum. It's not like gender isn't real.
Actually,
I can pretend.
But if you're gay, you're gay.
Well, you know, we were told that, and I believed a lot of things.
Do you not believe that?
Well, it's demonstrably not true, because science tells us it's not
People
true.
are making it up.
I don't think they're making it up at all.
So what's your point?
I think that you can be moved in that direction through propaganda and pornography.
Oh, come on, Tucker.
Well, then how do you explain?
Is there anything that would make
Hold on.
Could I make you gay?
How hard do you want to try?
Not hard, I can tell you.
Good. That's the spirit, Piers. There's a limit. Even an open-minded man like you kind of hate the gays.
Could I make you
I make a little gay joke, and you're like, "Oh, I'm not going to be gay. No.
Why are you using a gay slur? That's fine.
Well, first of all, the context matters. As I've told you, I mean, that's like coffee table conversation between the gays I work with at Fox. Faggot. So if it's okay with them, it's okay with me. It's just it's sort of like it's sort of like racism. Only the whites are upset about it.
People can be persuaded to be gay.
Well, then why don't you explain the twofold or threefold increase in self-identified homosexuals in the United States?
I can. They used to be repressed. It used to be illegal in this country until the mid-60s. You literally went to jail.
So all through history.
Hang on. You literally were put in a prison cell if you were openly homosexual.
That was more here, actually. You guys did Oscar Wilde. We didn't. But
it was
you
terrible.
also
Absolutely shocking.
Yeah, it was terrible. You ruled the world at the time, and now you're a joke, dependent on foreign-owned banks.
And you think that's because
but everyone's gay, so it's like a great trade.
So allowing gay people to be openly gay is why we wrecked
mocking
our country.
Masculinity is the fastest way to servitude.
Totally different
Ask
issue.
any Pakistani. That's why I like the Pakistanis here. You talk to a Pakistani cab driver, and you're like, "Why are you gay?" And they will start laughing because they've watched the video, and they're like, "I'm not gay. I'm a man."
What's it got to do with masculinity?
Ask a single Briton, why are you gay? They'd be like, well, I'm not gay, but it would be okay if I was. And it's like, there's no masculine self-respect at all.
You're sounding quite homophobic.
I don't think that's correct at all. I think, again, Tucker Carlson is talking baloney there. I don't know what type of English people he's been coming across, but it's certainly not the same as the rest of us.
Phobic.
I'm not afraid of gays at all. I'm just asking, actually,
you don't actually think they really exist by the sound of it.
Well, they exist.
No, but are they real? Is their sexuality genuinely?
Are they sleeping with dudes? Big time.
Well, and women, are they attracted to members of their own sex?
Mostly dudes. The lesbian thing is way overblown.
Actually, there are a lot of lesbians.
How many?
I haven't counted.
I love this conversation.
Not recently.
This is so great. You're going to get so fucking arrested after this. It's going to be unbelievable.
No one's arresting me.
Okay.
No one's arresting me. But I'm just curious whether you think that gay people
let me. Gays, do you have fewer children?
We don't have more gays.
We've got way more gays.
No. We have more people who are not afraid to say they're gay.
They're letting their freak flag fly.
They are actually gay, Tucker. They just haven't been able to admit it.
So why isn't that the case like in Asia?
What do you mean?
I don't think there's no Asian country, and they're not all like putting gays in jail. Malaysia might be. Korea's not. South Korea. Why is their self-described homosexuality rate so much lower than yours? Japan, same.
Because culturally, it is not a thing.
So it's genetic. You think it's genetic?
No, it's cultural.
No. People become gay.
But last World Cup.
Wait, but how do people become gay?
Okay, let's move forward.
The World Cup is
been hit with a copyright strike by Tucker Carlson.
Talk about the gay thing.
I'm telling you why.
How they become gay? Why are you gay?
1 in 4 countries.
Exotic and crazy. That's where the.
Okay, I've just had an email from YouTube. Tucker Carlson has hit me for a copyright claim. I mean, aren't we reviewing this? I mean, isn't that supposed to be allowed?
Prostitutes and the cheese eaters lived. It's only the brainwashing of Tony Blair and all these technocrats since who've convinced you you're European. You're way better than European. You're an ancient Germanic Celtic people who ruled the world. Do you remember that in your wooden ships? Anyway, but the point is, no, I'm serious.
You do talk some crap sometimes.
No,
it's
totally real.
Crap. Come on.
With the mass from Maine, White Pines. But the point is, your country went to war to preserve human rights in another country you had nothing to do with, but human rights are evaporating in your own country, and it's cool because you have soccer games with foreigners at them and good burrata.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying maybe something about the heroic British spirit has been diminished with time. That's all I'm saying.
But there's a very lovely, quaint notion being built up in the United States, driven by people like Tommy Robinson here.
Who's Tommy Robinson?
You know Tommy Robinson.
He seems like a fraud to me.
Well, he's not even Tommy Robinson. His name's Stephen.
I find that very strange. Okay, you don't like Tommy Robinson, but he's claiming Tommy Robinson is a fraud. What a strange comment to make, right? Isn't it amazing where one hand he's promoting everything that's Islamic, and then now he's attacking in front of Piers Morgan of all people and claiming Tommy Robinson is a fraud. But where's your evidence for that?
Yaxley. It's not even his real name. He's also convicted of multiple crimes, thuggery, fraud.
I don't even know anything about him, but he doesn't seem like he's that into Britain.
We would call him a little shit.
He doesn't seem like he's that into Britain. What?
Stirrer, right? However,
but the real people here, the actual Britons.
This idea that he's driven, that we're on the verge of some sort of civil war here. Do you feel that when you walk around?
No, because that's my point. You're so passive.
We're not passive.
They take your human rights away, and you're like, oh, defending Ukraine is so important. We're so proud to have defended Poland's territorial integrity 80 years ago. It's like, great. Yeah. I'm so glad.
I'm very proud of that.
Apparently. Yeah. But it's all a kind of displacement where you're taking your own frustrations with yourselves and your own cowardice and sort of living in this Walter Mitty world. We're like, no, actually, we're brave. We're going to defend Ukraine. It's like, what about defend yourselves against the monster?
So Tucker Carlson is saying there basically that we British people are okay with the whole Ukrainian war. And that kind of tells me from this interview, because he's interviewed somebody from the UK, has made some ridiculous comments about life in the UK and got it so wrong.